Chapter 38. This is how it all came together. I felt empty. I didn't feel like living anymore. I had abundance in my life. I didn't feel this way because of a lack of feeling loved or a lack of esteem, but something didn't feel right. I didn't know what to do. The more I thought about it, the more I started to get a sense that I wanted to disconnect from the world. By the world, I mean things like Facebook and various social outings. I couldn't explain to anyone else or even myself why I was compelled to do this. I just knew that that was what I was compelled to do. So I did it. I stopped hosting my podcast. I got off of social media. I stopped going out. I just sat in my room all day. Sometimes I would play games. Sometimes I would learn about things I didn't know about. Sometimes I would trade stocks online. Sometimes I would just sit, do nothing, and reflect. Oddly enough, I started to feel good. It was like I was going in my own personal right direction. But I didn't see where this was leading me. Even though I was feeling good and more energized, there was a distinct feeling of unfulfillment in my life. This unfulfillment was enough to bring into question whether I wanted to live or not again. It wasn't a woe is me or oh cruel world kind of contemplation. I just figured I had led a good life and there was nothing left for me to do, contribute, or experience. So I asked myself the question, what would I need to do to feel fulfilled? An answer came to me. For my entire life, I have been accumulating as much perspective as I could. In my free time as an elementary school kid, I would put myself in as many people's shoes as I could imagine. After a while, I started to see gaps in people's perspectives in relation to one another. Party X wanted to express something to Party Y, but since Party Y didn't see what Party X could see, and vice versa, there was going to be a breakdown in negotiations. Conflict would ensue where cooperation could have easily thrived. But when I realized I couldn't change people, I didn't see any sense in getting involved. However, I knew there was value in sharing the information I had gathered. Not everyone is going to care or listen, but some would. And for those who would listen, there was a point in saying what I had to say. Dear reader, the events that I just described to you did not happen years or months ago. They happened a couple weeks before I started to write this book. I didn't tell anyone about what I was really thinking. I was scared of how they would react. But I told you. I hope that kind of makes us friends now. And so I felt deeply compelled to write a book about everything I would have wanted to have known if I was born yesterday. That would be a way for me to contribute. This would be my way towards a feeling of fulfillment. And it worked. There was no doubt that I was getting a sense of fulfillment from writing every day. I had solved my problem of having this daunting sense of unfulfillment. But it dawned on me that I was meeting my need for self-actualization, and no one was involved in it except for me. If I could share my realizations with just one other person, I would find great pleasure in doing so.